$1.73 billion. That's right, Pine Belt, billion with a B. Now, Mississippi is one of 10 states in the country where you don't have to report if you won the jackpot. However, I'll be sure to let you know if I did. We're looking at about 4 feet of storm surge, which is a drastic difference than what we saw during Hurricane Florence in 2018. Was this Waste Pro Management garbage truck, and as you can see, there is garbage spilling alongside of the road. And if you look down by the driver's side, there is also diesel gas spilling out. Another vehicle that was involved in the crash is this white passenger vehicle. It sustained significant damage to its front end. Oak Grove has now beaten Hattiesburg High School for the 6th time as week 3 of the high school football season brings us here to Hattiesburg High School. Agencies from Jones and Wayne County have been here on the scene on Highway 84 East after reports of a 3-vehicle rollover. One of those vehicles being a hot asphalt truck. You can see it behind me. I'll go ahead and step out of the shot. Now, this was once on its side earlier. And so what are you telling your players? Obviously, the playoffs went very well for you, and now you're headed to state. What is, the locker room talk going to look like?
Same thing we've done each and every week. We're going to block and tackle, throw and catch and kick and cover.
So after the game, when asked how he feels about their 34-32 win over Seminary, the first word that came to mind was relieved. Now, they did have some additional help on the sideline tonight and in practice in former player and NFL free agent CJ Moore. And Coach Lance Mancuso said it helped to boost morale. You can see it all behind me. So it's right here. We've got kitchen appliances that are burnt to a crisp, and the remnants of what's left of the building after the fire broke out Monday morning on Highway 11 in Jasper County. Trying to raise money for shelters, helping clear them out, and help get dogs like my friend here adopted. So far since it started in 2020, they've raised over $7.5 million during a 3-hour live stream. So Dixie Electric has been out here about the last 15 minutes or so. They're preparing to hit the road at 7 o'clock. They're heading out to the Talcon Co-op where they will be there for about a week. Now, Dixie Electric says that they are sending 17 trucks, which is about 19 people. You only allowed 7 points. We saw a lot of sacks in the first half. You mentioned after the game that you kind of want these guys to remember in 10, 15 years when they come back what this felt like. What do you think it's going to feel like when you look back on this 15 years from now?
I tell you what, man, every year I appreciate it.
You can buy a new outfit or weapon for your video game character without even leaving the house. And now imagine that kind of unsupervised power in the hands of your child. Those are some of the problems that parents across the country are currently facing. A little less than an hour of your time can help give up to 3 people a second chance to live theirs. Sounds like a pretty good deal to me. Let's take a look at this. NOAA hurricane hunters shared video and pictures from their flights on Monday as they traveled into the eye of Hurricane Beryl. The season is in full swing, and WP-3D Orion, which is a highly modified aircraft nicknamed Kermit, is gathering data for forecasters. President Joe Biden and former President Donald Trump faced off last night in the first debate ahead of the 2024 election. Trump and Biden touched on former President Trump's legal issues, concerns over Biden's age, former President Trump's willingness to accept the results of the election, and even their golf games. Both Republican and Democratic U.S. lawmakers are urging the FDA and President Joe Biden to support MDMA for post-traumatic stress disorder. The FDA is set to issue a decision by August 11th on treatment of PTSD with MDMA, commonly known as ecstasy. It's almost been a week now since the United States Supreme Court struck down the ban on bump stocks. Bump stocks allow a shooter to convert a semi-automatic rifle into a weapon that can fire at a rate of hundreds of rounds a minute. Concerns were first raised about bump stocks following the 2017 deadly mass shooting in Las Vegas. Summer storm season is just ramping up, and the Federal Emergency Management Agency is running out of money. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration now reports that the U.S. has already been hit with 11 extreme disasters so far just this year. Former President Donald Trump has been found guilty of all 34 felony counts of falsifying business records in his New York hush money trial. Trump is now the first president in U.S. history to be convicted of a criminal offense, though he is expected to appeal. The federal suit, which was filed in the state of California, also accuses Meta of violating the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act by collecting personal data on users under 13 without parental consent. I see the weather hasn't changed one bit. Rex, I don't know if I should be More surprised that it didn't change or surprised that I expected it to change?
I think I'd be more surprised that I expected it to change.
Right. I don't know why I thought I could, go for a couple days and come back to maybe 20 degrees cooler weather. The NBA Finals wrapped up last night. The Celtics beat the Mavericks. So we've got a really cool video to show you from the game last night. So check out this Boston Celtics player who hit a buzzer beater against the Dallas Mavericks. So we'll give you a second to watch him get up to half court, and there he goes, absolutely draining it from half court. So that's Celtics rookie Peyton Pritchard, and this isn't the first time in the NBA Finals he did the same thing in Game 2. The Celtics won their 18th NBA championship game last night against the Mavericks. Okay, so I didn't think this was anything that was ever going to come out of my mouth, genuinely, but can I hold it?
Of course you can. Are you ready? They are. Again, they're pretty docile.
Good,
So she is shaking. Okay.
Okay, I can get this thing turned around.
I like what you're going
My
on
girl's
there.
earrings. Ellie?
I got a little ghost going on over here. I thought about doing a last minute pivot to like a pack band track, and then I decided that I might not be able
Well,
to
we
keep
have
that
yellow.
either. I was at the Laurel and the West Jones game on Friday night, and let me tell you, those players were just over the moon. I mean, I watched a couple of boys cry, and I was like, I want to cry for you. I don't know you. I'm not playing. I'm not going, but I'm excited for you.
It's heartbreaking that his place is gone, that he has to go through this.
As millions of Americans celebrated Veterans Day on Friday, James Watkins and family friends were doing anything but that. And for Watkins, the events that took place over the course of just 8 minutes will likely forever be ingrained in his brain.
Sat down, I just couldn't believe it. It's all gone.
Watkins, a U.S. Navy veteran who served in the Vietnam War, had his life turned upside down in those short 8 minutes after his camper went up in flames and was burned to the ground, taking everything he owned down with it.
Well, me and my husband had gotten in our van, was headed towards town, and we got a phone call from Unc, and Unc said, Poppy's trailer's on fire. I said, well, go get my fire extinguisher out of my camper, and put the fire out. We pulled in, and it was just in flames. And Poppy was standing over there just looking at it, all upset. And so we tried to put it out, but it wasn't no saving it. So we waited for the fire department to get here, and the camper was already gone.
An emotional day for all, as Watkins experienced yet another life-altering event. After losing his wife in 2020 and his daughter just 2 years later, he is once again starting completely over.
He had just lost everything that he had worked his life for. His whole history was in that camper, and it went up in flames.
For Watkins, the day took everything he had, from his home to all of his personal belongings.
It's all gone. There's no way getting it back. I can get pictures of my dead wife, but I don't want to. I got a few, but my wedding stuff's all gone. All my military stuff's gone. There's no way getting most of that stuff back. All I can do is just move forward.
And just a few days later, Watkins is already working towards the future, picking up what used to be his home, piece by piece, as he works to rebuild his life.
I knew that it was close, that it was about that time. It was coming, but I wasn't going to just let it happen. That was for sure.
A routine drive home from work turned into a near-death experience for 22-year-old Colton Rogers after flipping his vehicle on a highway guardrail.
I knew when I was sitting in the truck that when I seen the blood flowing in between my legs and I was wearing jeans, that something was wrong. I shouldn't have been bleeding that bad wearing jeans. And me being conscious on the side of the road after getting out of the vehicle and everybody talking to me, it all kind of became clear.
Rogers' leg was stuck as his co-workers who were riding with him were able to climb out of the car. But he was pinned, heavily bleeding, and hoping for a miracle. And shortly after, a miracle arrived.
I pulled over to see if there's anything I could do to help, and then that's when I saw Colton, kind of trapped, within the vehicle.
And instantly, Sergeant First Class Corey Engard knew he had to do something quickly, or the accident would have been fatal for Rogers.
2 other civilians actually helped kind of break out the window and cut a seatbelt to get him to come out of the vehicle. However, when he fell out of the vehicle, that's when I saw that his left leg was like completely severed off. Took off my belt and like cinched it around his thighs, you know, as hard as I could.
NGARD's quick thinking and initiative allowed for Rogers to be medevaced to Anderson Regional Medical Center's critical care unit in Meridian, where he spent 3 days on life support. He lost 4 pints of blood, but after already being released from rehab, he's on track for a quick recovery, and his eyes are set on the future.
Well, when I had both of my legs, I would have said 1 step at a time, but now I'm saying 1 hop at a time. We're definitely gonna take this journey very slowly, and we're not gonna overdo it.
And both NGARD and Rogers have advice for those that come across a situation like theirs.
If you ever get the opportunity to help somebody, you know, don't just drive by.
Don't beat yourself up missing the old you, and, you know, try to create your new life with the new you and build the new you, and it's all in your hands from there.